right, hello everyone, and welcome to Miami by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade 5th Edition Chronicle. This is a continuation of our last session that got cut off early last Thursday. If you want to play catch up, the VODs can be found on my YouTube and other podcast solutions. The only other thing I want to say before we just sort of jump into things is that this is the last time you will see this overview. I'm going to be redoing both the intro and the overview, such that we're getting rid of the Roll20 map over here to my left, and we're going to be devoting more space to the webcams because we're moving towards more of a theater of the mind type deal. There's many reasons for that, but the long and short of it is you will just see more of our lovely faces. Let's just go ahead and jump into it. So, where we last left our coterie, they had decided to split up and visit two separate places. Or maybe it would be better to say most of the coterie was going one place and Euless decided to go somewhere else. The majority is going to meet with a acquaintance of Locke's, a man named Mike who appeared in a photograph that was important for several reasons. Chief among them was that in this photograph was the last known image of Rolnick's daughter. And we can get into that as events warrant, but suffice to say Mike is a very important person. Now Euless is headed off to talk to a werewolf about some weapons. Now one could say that Euless is probably the one in the most danger of the two groups, but with as most things in the world of darkness, not everything is as it seems. So we open up with Rolnick, Locke, and Moran arriving in SUV to what appears to be a standard suburbia home for Miami. What you're seeing is standard one-story ranch-style house, white siding, sort of a tiled roof. Nothing really that stands out. It's just your average suburban home. Other than the fact that there are two armed guards that are standing at the front door. They don't have any weapons immediately visible, but Rolnick, because these are your people, quote unquote, you know they're armed. So the SUV pulls up, it comes to a stop, the driver turns and says, "We are here, Mr. Rolnick."
Just nod at the driver and at the others. I fix my suit briefly before stepping on outside.
So you step out into the chill night air, not that it really bothers your undead nature, but you step out, and almost immediately, between you walking from the SUV to the front door, it begins to drizzle and then actual full rainfall. The guards at the door sort of look at you, Rolnick, nod, and one of them opens the door for you. And inside, again, you've got your standard ranch layout, which means, at least as far as I know, you've got a sort of a foyer with the living room off to the left, a kitchen and a dining room beyond that, and then you have a series of bedrooms and a bathroom over to the right. And sitting in what you can see in the living room is a man, the man, Mike, who is just sort of seated in one of the couches. He, again, is surrounded by armed people. This time they're a little bit more visible. Like, instead of concealed carrying, they are actually, like, on hip carrying. And there's maybe four of them in each of the corner. There's four of them in all, one in each corner. They're not really making any moves or acting like they care, but you can tell that Mike is very uncomfortable by this. But as you walk in, Miss Varro comes up behind you and says, "Mr. Rolnick, would you like us to get rid of the guards? Have a private conversation?"
Yes, let's make this a bit more informal.
"Very good, sir. The rest of you, clear out. You're gonna watch the exterior." And all it takes is the one word, and they all filter on out to go guard the exterior, leaving just you, three, and Mike. And as soon as they're all gone, Mike says, and I'm going to attempt to do a voice here, "Wait a moment, I know you," pointing at Locke. "That's you, Locke, isn't it?
Mike, how goes it? It's been a while.
It has been a while indeed. When did I last see you? Was it 2 years ago?
About. It's good to see you again.
Yeah,
You,
yeah. Hey, what the hell's going on with all this? I mean, don't get me wrong, they offered a lot of money for me to just come sit here, but it feels something's wrong here. What's going on?
uh, you may be have come in contact with someone that we are looking for at a restaurant. Do you recall being at a restaurant?
Well, I mean, a man's got to eat, right?
Yeah, yeah. But maybe a daughter. I'm looking at Rolnick. Who are we looking for?
Do you prefer Mike or Michael?
I'll respond to either.
Right. Michael, this will be brief. All right. Thank you for your time coming here so promptly. But we do have a series of questions for you. We would like if you can just answer them as to the best of your ability.
Sure, man. I mean, you're paying me a lot to do it.
Of course, I am. And so, um, I want you to try to remember. It may have been a few nights ago. You were outside a particular restaurant. There were a few there was one man, perhaps he was in a bit of a suit. And in fact, I do have a photo of the exact moment I'm speaking about, and I can slide it onto the table.
And he
Now we have you there.
picks it up. Yeah, that's me. So, who is it in this picture you're curious about?
All of them.
All of them.
First, I'd like to ask you, what is your relationship with these individuals?
Well, this guy here, and he taps the suit, who you know to be the Ventrue Primogen. This guy here, that's the guy the suits wanted me to look at.
I wanted to speak with him about what precisely?
Don't know. They just wanted me to find out his daily routine, and let me tell you that guy, it's not very consistent. He doesn't really have a day. He seems to only go around at night. But the suits were expecting that. That's
You're
kind
Who are
of
these
referring,
suits?
don't know. If I had to qualify, I mean, you know them government types, right? Big black cars, shaded windows, sunglasses. If I had to guess, maybe special forces,
hmm,
maybe FBI. I couldn't tell you.
I see, I see. What about this girl here? She seems out of place, does she not? I point to Melanie.
And he kind of nods and says, "Yeah, I was trying to figure out what their connection was. They came to the restaurant as a group and left as a group, and she's been seen a few other times with him. Do you know her?"
Hmm. Thank you, Michael. Now, your connection, I completely
Yeah,
ignored.
I completely ignore the question.
Now, Michael, you have but a brief run-in with this other man. That's what I'm gathering. Am I correct?
That's more or less correct. I'm a private investigator. Not a good one, but I am a private investigator.
Hmm. What about this woman here? What do you know of this woman,
And which woman are you pointing to?
Sophia?
Sophia. Now I've seen her only once before. When was it? And he kind of looks off into the distance and rubs his chin in thought. And I would like anyone who would care to roll me just standard wits and awareness.
What about insight?
Insight would work too.
Okay.
And don't worry, you're not going to get a bestial failure. This is just to see if you notice. Well, Rolnick with 6 successes. What you notice, Rolnick, is I know we haven't really explored Rolnick's feeding habits a whole lot, but you know that look when someone has been fed on and they're trying to recall the event.
Gotcha. So perhaps a brief run-in. I ask only because, again, she seems out of place, does she not?
Yeah. I never figured out what her name was or what her deal was, unfortunately.
Ah, perhaps that is for the better. Now, you said that these folks left together. Would you happen to have in your investigations a license plate, perhaps of their vehicle that they had taken?
Nah, they switched vehicles every time they came and went somewhere, but, and he kind of fumbles in his clothes, patting his pockets down. I know I got it here somewhere, 1 second. Ah, here it is. And he pulls out a piece of paper. I did figure out where he's, living, if you could call it that. Seems like he's, living the big life. You familiar at all with a little island called Fisher Island?
Of course, of course.
Sidebar here. Fisher Island is a island in the Miami Bay. The only way to get to and from the island is via ferry. It's a very upscale type island. There's a 5-star hotel there. Lots of shall we say premium amenities. But he continues on to say and says, he's staring at the Fisher Island Club, that really ritzy 5-star hotel.
Ah, perhaps you don't give yourself enough credit.
I mean, all it took was just following him one time as he left. I wouldn't call that amazing, but I mean, how do I put this? I don't know where he is in the hotel, in the resort, whatever we're calling it. I just know that he's there.
I just nod very politely, and I gesture for the photograph from the
He
man.
hands it back.
Put in my suit. That is all I wish to ask.
Mike, how about you go to ground for a little bit, take that money that my friend here paid you, and disappear until this blows over.
Now, when you
Okay.
say disappear, do you mean leave Miami disappear or leave the country disappear?
I'll leave that up to you. Traveling may be good for you, don't you think?
Yeah, I hear Paris is nice this time of year.
Yeah. Less guns and baguettes.
Yeah, you know how I am about those baguettes.
You take care of yourself, Mike.
Yeah, and he stands to leave.
I'm gonna give him a number to my to Jeeves' cell phone. If you need anything, call my friend here, and he'll get you in contact with me.
Yeah, I appreciate it. It's good to see you again, man. We should catch up sometime.
Yeah.
And he kind of walks past you three. He walks to the door, opens it. On the other side, one of the security members outside looks to you, Rolnick, as if looking for a nod, a signal.
And I smile at the security guard, and I actually go on over and I put my hand on this man's shoulder, and Mike's shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
One more thing.
Yeah, what can I do for you?
Just wanted to wish that you have a wonderful vacation in France. Marseille, precisely. Of course, I'm compelling him to go. And another thing, this never happened.
Are you
Simply-
actually using...
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
yeah, totally.
Which I think on mortals, doesn't it just work?
Cloud memory, essentially, like forgetting that this meeting ever happened.
Right. So his face goes blank for a little bit as, you know, the power washes over him. And then he sort of just shakes his head and says, Well, man, it's your money. If you want to pay me to show up and then leave, I ain't gonna complain. That's a lot of money.
You deserve the vacation.
Yeah, I hear Marseille's real nice this time of year.
I just nod.
And yeah, the security guard gets the hint and takes Mike to one of the SUVs that is parked out front. They both get in. SUV drives off, and you all are all alone in a house to discuss matters as you wish.
There's a possible haven breach.
What do you mean?
How well do you know this man?
I know him pretty well.
Will he be a problem?
No.
Despite what the Primogen council member has allegedly done, we still have to respect their title and the clan that backs them. What I mean is, if this mortal found a possible haven of this esteemed member of our society, you could see my cause for concern.
I could see that. I could see that being used to our benefit. But as far as he himself, he's not a threat to any of us or our kind.
I hope so. He seemed like a nice fellow.
He was, or he is. He's had a hard life. It's good that you paid him enough to go on a trip.
Of course, I pay people for their services. I don't believe in charity.
I think you're a big softy at heart underneath all that.
Perhaps. There is an obvious trail that we can look into. I can use what connections I have, try to reach out to this hotel, just to confirm Mr. Greco's stay there. And at that, I would suggest we perhaps get in contact with the sheriff and let him know of the information once we confirm it. If we know where Greco is, we could capture him, and he could answer for what his actions have done these recent nights.
Derek, what do you think?
There's a bit of a personal connection here I'm starting to get with this. Though, isn't it fair to say that the prince has already told us to handle it? Why would we go calling the sheriff about it? Why would we capture him?
Will that make us look incompetent?
I don't think our competency is in question, especially not yours. I merely suggest this in respect to the traditions. I don't want to act without. Well, on second thought, there was a blood hunt called.
Yeah, we have his permission.
I don't think it would be unsightly for us to make a move and maybe send some word afterwards.
From what I understand, this is a fairly secluded and luxurious location. Particularly, it is surrounded by water. Now, what we do know is that Mr. Greco has connection, whether it is a willful connection or not, to the Winter Court. These changelings are devious and violent. if we go to this location, we don't know what exactly we'll be getting ourselves into.
Well, that's why we eye the place out. We don't rush in without thinking, but we do rush in.
Hmm.
We can always ask what Euless would think, or if she has any insight or some special Hogwarts stuff that can help in this matter.
She is able to. She has that incredible ability to sense where others are. Well, if you're all okay with that, current plan is surveillance. You have to confirm the location of Mr. Greco.
For now, yes.
I would prefer capture so that we may bring him to court and everyone will know who brought him in, rather than simply giving him a final death.
Though the prince specifically asked us to dealberize him. Did he not?
Yes.
Hell, one way or another, he's gonna get dusted.
To be honest, that doesn't sit right to me.
Are you suggesting you rebelling against the prince?
Of course not. It's the
Sounds like it.
The act of diablerie. It's sickening. Is all.
Yeah, everything's balanced. One way or another, you maintain it.
So we're in agreement then.
That we go get eyes on the island, the hotel, and see if Greco's there. Yes.
All right. Now, let's try to get in contact with Miss Tacoma. I do hope she's all right.
Yeah, and before we cut away to Euless meeting with a werewolf, do either of you three, do any of you have a dot or more in Streetwise?
Yes.
I would like you to roll me a intelligence and a Streetwise, please. One success. Something about the way Mike said suits is sitting wrong with you. You don't know why. You just know that something about the word suits does not seem to track.
Oh, yes. That's in the back of my mind.
All right. So we cut away from the suburban home to an empty parking lot where Euless, remind me, you drive what, a Prius or something to that effect?
Yeah, a subcompact, yeah.
Subcompact. I'm going to call it a Prius because it's a Prius.
Okay.
So you, no, that won't be mean. So you're sitting there sort of outside on your car. Maybe you're like leaning against it, trying to be all cool like. When a beat up 97 Toyota truck, red, of course, pulls into the empty parking lot and stops opposite the lane from you. And out steps a woman that you remember from almost several months ago. Just for a reminder, she has sort of wild, stylized hair that looks like there is quite a lot of product in it. Very heavy eyeliner, luscious lips. Basically a drop-dead gorgeous kind of woman. If it weren't for the fact that she could turn into a hairy beast and kill you instantly.
That's just a plus.
Yeah, you know. Some people are into that. But as she steps out, you notice that she has not gone without arming herself this time because she has literally pulled out a shotgun and isn't pointing it at you, but makes it very clear that she will if something starts to go wrong. And Taria calls out and says, "All right, I came. What is it you want to talk about?"
Yeah, so a lot's been happening with like stuff. And I was wondering if you still had some of those fancy little uh fire gun round things.
Dragon's breath, you mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I got some. What caliber?
Um I'm not really a gun person.
Do you
Like
have any dots in intelligence and firearms?
I mean, like I've got 4 dots in intelligence and a dot in firearms.
Sure, go ahead and roll it. Two successes. You seem to recall that the gun that was gifted to Rolnik from Taria was a 45.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Some 45s.
All right, how you paying?
Would you take occult knowledge?
She stares at you for a moment. Her eyes narrow, and she says, I don't take jokes as payment, sorry.
Okay. I have a cash.
She kind of looks around. Well, let's see it.
And check my thing. I've got a dot of resources, I believe.
Okay. So you go to your car, pull out a large stack of cash, bring it over, and she kind of takes one hand off her shotgun, reaches out to take the cash.
Yeah, I give it to her. I trust her.
Okay. She takes it and puts her shotgun on a sling so that it rests across her chest, and then begins counting the bills in the stack. And she says, yeah, it's enough to buy 12 rounds. You want all 12, or you want me to give you some back?
Uh, yeah, that's good. 12's good.
Right. She tucks the wad of cash away, goes over to the truck, the pickup part, or the back end of it, opens up a toolbox, rummages around, comes back, and hands you what is literally a plastic bag, like a gallon-sized plastic bag, with several 45 cartridges in it. And she just kind of holds it out to you and says, right, now see, wasn't that a good business transaction? We didn't need to hit each other with cars. We used our words.
Yeah, I'm really sorry for the people I hang out with.
Well, I mean, if you're going to pay, I don't mind meeting like this again. But yeah, the one in the car, I meant what I said in that note. If he shows up around me again, he better have that silver bullet.
No, yeah, I'll make sure he doesn't. Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, thank you. Oh, shit. Is there anything I needed to ask her?
There is, but I don't think Derek told you about it. So.
Oh. Fuck. Do I have her number?
Taria's number?
That's how like we got in touch, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think we're good. Thanks, Taria.
She just sort of nods, smiles a little bit, gets back in her truck, engine fires up, and she pulls out of the parking lot into the night. It is at that point, Sophie, that Ulysses' phone rings.
Oh, fuck. Do I see who it is?
You do. It is Miss Verreau, or Charlie, as you like to call her.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pick it up.
On the other end is not Miss Verreau, but it is Mr. Rolnik.
Oh.
Good
Hello?
evening.
Oh, hi.
I hope you didn't meet.
Yeah, I'm a ghost right now. What's up?
Good. Our business has come to a conclusion. We would like to meet.
Okay. Just
Usual
at the
place.
Okay, cool.
Be there in 10.
See Bye.
Just hang up.
So for viewers and my sake, when you say commonplace, do you mean the Haven or do you mean
The
a
Haven.
different location? The Haven.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the first time, again, as two separate cars pull up to the Haven, this is the first time that Derek has seen it. So this part of town is a lot more upscale, a lot more ritzy than the suburban home you just left. These are actual like mansions/villas. And this one in particular is actually, you know what? I think I've got a map set up for this. I do. Look at that. Me being slightly prepared. So it is a combination of stucco and stone, but it is immense compared to the house you were just at. As in, it probably has 6 to 7 bedrooms. It has 2 floors. It's got a nice sort of hedge wall around it, and it is illuminated up. And as you all filter in, you are treated to a delightful interior full of Baroque art, Baroque style furniture, in general, very sort of classical themes. And as you look up towards the roof, there are it's wood. It's not like panels. It's not like stucco or whatever the hell you call that awful popcorn ceiling stuff. It looks very nice. And as you're gathering in this place, I'm going to turn it back over to you all.
So, who's the rich person who's funded this beautiful place? I've never run with such a ritzy crowd.
Stick with us and you go places.
It is the prince that gave us this place, though.
You'd be amazed at what the Camarilla can afford.
Oh, Phil.
Yes?
Can I see the gun that
Yes, it's right over there.
Taria get? Okay, thanks.
I do hope that your meeting? Did you meet with it?
Okay, if I can. First of all, we respect people in this house. Second of all, yes, I did meet with her, and it went very well. She's a really nice person.
Did you make a transaction?
Euless pulls out the Ziploc baggie of rounds and starts takes out the magazine in the gun and loads them in.
Do you take out the silver bullet?
Yeah. I put it in. I guess I'll put it in the now empty Ziploc bag and
I'll
put it
take that.
in my pocket. Okay.
Thank you. I do hope we don't have to use those rounds if they work. That is.
If they work. Yeah, I mean, I hope not. Killing people is not fun. But hey, this guy was kind of a dick. So like, praxis, I guess.
Should we test it out?
What was that?
Should we test it out? See if these bullets work. Are you volunteering yourself, Euless?
Let's not fire off any rounds just yet.
I mean, after what happened with
Euless, I'm kidding.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
I agree. We do have a lead as to the location of Mr. Greco. We're going to undergo a bit of surveillance tonight. I need to confirm his location. Once we have his location, it's my suggestion that we capture and bring him to court so that he may be executed for his crimes. But, you know, if the situation does arise and we have to make a decision, I'm completely fine with eliminating the problem then and there, if it comes to that.
Or we can follow the prince's orders and someone dealberize him.
Who's gonna do it?
I think Rolnick should.
I'm not doing it. We'll leave it at that.
he's an elder. He's at least like what, eighth generation.
I don't wish to drink from such a bloodline. I don't know what it would do to myself or to any of you.
No, yeah, I mean, I have like moral reasons I'm not gonna drink them, but like y'all don't like follow the same stuff. So I mean, I was just curious.
You drank my blood when I offered.
Yeah, because you consented to give it to me.
Oh, you're one of those.
That's fine.
I have a gun with fire bullets.
Do you think you can hit me?
I'd give myself some good odds.
Okay. Just wondering.
Eolus, I'm sure I don't need to really make mention of this, but since I do, despite what you may think, I do worry about you, I would strongly suggest that what happened between you and Mr. Locke stays between you two. And your dealings with this lupine remains.
What happened between me and Locke?
Yeah, we're friends. Aren't we friends, Euless?
I mean, I like to think of you all as acquaintances.
My heart
Bloodthirsty
bleeds.
acquaintances.
Euless, I understand how you are. Right.
You do?
But the others, they might not take kindly to someone freely speaking with a lupine. From what I understand, their people do not speak to us.
They like
Yeah.
to rip us apart. That's
Yes,
what usually happens.
I heard about that, and others can think some very wild claims. I don't want them to make those claims in court or in any sort of gathering among the kindred.
Can you actually use werewolf blood in your magic?
I mean, it's possible. I mean, I don't.
That could be interesting.
I mean,
Mr. Moran, do you have any connections to surveillance? Have you done this before?
What, hunted down vampires? Who hasn't at some point in time? But depends on what kind of surveillance you mean. I travel light. I don't. What you see is what you got. But like I said, I got my guy who can get us pretty much anything we need. So if we need a quick little boat to get over there, I'm sure he can for the right price. And I'm just going to let you know I don't have the financial backing for a boat. But I'm sure one of you beautiful, beautiful Camarilla members might be able to convince somebody to pay for that. And maybe any kind of surveillance gear we need.
I'm a broke new member.
Well, I don't think any large purchases are in order. I'd suggest we simply try to get a nighttime ferry over there, stay among the public, use a camera or a cell phone, record, take whatever images we can. Something light, something easy. Get the lay of the land, as it were.
Now this
this
is your
agreeable?
guys' it's your circus. I'm just along to help out.
Hey, you're part of this. Your advice and counsel is welcome.
are you okay, Phil? You seem queasy about this whole shindig.
Euless, I'm never okay, and I deal with it.
Same.
Don't worry. If somebody has to take the bite, I'm sure one of us can step up to the plate.
Now, the last time we had seen this man, Mr. Moran, was not alone. In particular, um, the person who sired me was mm, was in the vicinity. Her name is Sophia, and she is part of my clan, though I believe she would uh, show it more. I don't know her connection to this. She is a wild card. If she is in this location as well, um, how should we proceed?
Should we stake her and bring her to the court for judgment or for further finding?
I would prefer capture, or
Well, capture is staking. It's the most effective way, the safest way for us to capture someone.
I suppose if it comes to that, um, I'd prefer if we can elude her. Um, that'd be my preference.
Well, she's harboring somebody that the prince isn't really a fan of. Wouldn't rules dictate we take her to them?
No, we don't know that for
Well,
certain.
He can make that judgment, right?
I agree with Derek here. I mean, wasn't she in the hedge and talking with Greco and the other Fae?
Yes, she was, but I don't want to judge her just yet.
Seems like she could be a valuable point of information.
Rolnick. Miss Varro comes over to you and says, I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but
Ah, yes.
you told me to tell you that she just she fumbles over her words, trails off, and then just hands you a phone. And you see on the phone, it's a burner phone. But on the burner phone, you see Sophie's number.
Thank you, Miss Farrell. Excuse me, I have to take this. What? I say as I kind of shuffle away.
Oh, come now, Rolnick. You and I know exactly what's about to happen.
What are you doing calling me?
Oh, I just thought I'd call, catch up, and tell you that, if you don't get to the Primogen, I will.
What? What do you want about?
I see you're one of those types still. Well, just know that Mr. Greco will soon not be Mr. Greco.
That doesn't make any sense.
You've got a good brain on you. You'll figure it out. Line goes dead.
When Phil stepped away, Euless shuffled through her purse and pulls out her trashy romance novel.
Nice.
And she starts thumbing through it. Does it offer any advice as to what we're attempting to do?
I feel like this is a mechanical thing, which you'll have to remind me of.
Yes. So the book, which is the
Oh, is this your lore sheet?
This is my Book of the Grave War. It is disguised as a trashy romance novel.
I remember this now. Yes.
Among many things, it offers advice on how to break the chains between elders and their neonates.
Let's see. Trying to find it in the sheets here real quick. If you find it before I do, just let me know what the page number is.
It is page 385.
385. That's Theo Bell. Maybe there's...
385. It's like the next page, the 2 pages after Theo Bell.
Okay. I see K-Knight Heresy, and I see Karna.
Yep, there it is.
Okay.
The 5th one on Karna.
5th one on Karna. Ah, there it is. According to the rumor, the tome known as blah 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 blah. Uh-huh.
And breaking the shackles, binding vampires to their elders.
So, why don't you roll me? Let's call this an intelligence and occult, please.
Okay.
Four successes.
And I really want to succeed. Oh, I didn't mean to reroll the whole thing.
Well, even then, if we
so-
took the first 3, you'd only get one more success, so that would be 5
Okay,
total.
So 5.
So looking at this lore sheet, I think what you would find in this book, without giving too much away, is that someone you know, and that's as vague as I'm going to be, someone you know has their own copy of this book. And something you should remember about this book is that the Tremere in general are going to seek to destroy not just you, but the book itself. Or reverse that, the book and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's starting to come to you. You're like, oh yeah, maybe they were a little bit paranoid when I mentioned certain subjects, yada, yada, yada. You realize that your Primogen has shown signs of knowing things he shouldn't. Now, whether or not that has any bearing on current situation, I leave to your imagination.
Shit. 2 bitches gonna die tonight.
Yeah, and it is worth saying that reading this lore sheet, if you expose him for having it, you will be elevated quite heavily within the clan.
Yeah, alright. So, like, just, like, reading my refresher, like...
Yeah, the rest of you just kind of see her pull out, like, Bear, the classic Canadian novel, between a love story between a woman and a literal bear. Bestseller, apparently. I'm not even joking. Like, apparently it is a national bestseller in Canada. Don't ask me how. But eventually, as she's thumbing through, Rolnick, you come back at this point.
Yeah, like, I think, like, as Rolnick comes back, like, Eul's eyes just kind of, like, she, like looks up, her eyes are, like, kind of wide, and she just, like blinks a few times, so, like, comes back to normal. Oh, how'd your phone call go?
Sorry about that. CFO. Sometimes we get some employees that are real go-getters. They end up calling me when I'm busy. But I do believe we should get to our surveillance for this evening before the evening is done. All right? Right. If you give me but a few moments, I'll see you all now out on the car. I have to get something. And I shuffle away, and I gotta get my pills, man.
Okay. Where are we going?
You're on an island.
Very
Oh,
specific island, yes.
The
Fisher Island.
Fisher
Primogen.
Island, yep. So, after Rolnick has grabbed his item, we are going to... I'm actually going to show you on the map here, and I'll try to zoom out so the stream can see it. So, if you will draw your attention down to the bottom left, you are somewhere around the Riviera Golf Course in the University of Miami. You're going to follow Route 1 all the way up to take the 95 interstate. And then you're going to cut on to the MacArthur Crossway. And then as you're on the other side of the Biscayne Bay, you're going to be taking a ferry over to this island here. The island just to the south of the... I forget what that's actually called, the island there. Needless to say, it is Fisher Island. And by this point, it's maybe about 3 a.m., so you maybe have maybe 1, 2, maybe 3 more hours before sunrise. But the good news is that the ferry runs 24/7. It is about a 30-minute trip over, though, so just keep that in mind in terms of keeping track of time. But once you get onto Fisher Island, it is just a quick walk away until you arrive at the Fisher Island Club. And just from the front entrance, you can tell that this is the best of the best in Miami. And by that I mean you're looking at, just in the front way, there are not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 fountains that are sort of arrayed in such a way that their streams sort of coalesce and otherwise interconnect with one another. And beyond these amazing water fixtures is a vast sort of clubhouse type area. To compare it to the Riviera Golf Course, it is probably, I would say, 2 to 3 times more expensive looking, as in the walls are immaculate, the windows are all sorts of stained glass, and they have bars across them. The gardens between the fountains and the clubhouse, or really the main sort of check-in area, the gardens are beautiful even at night. They're illuminated by sort of street lamps or other such fixtures that show off all sorts of colorful colors, ranging from pinks and purples and blues to just simple hedge trimmed. There's a duck, there's a tiger, there's all manner of very expensive looking greenery here. But what you're noticing, and is probably the most important, is that while you can simply walk up to the clubhouse, the check-in area, the actual rest of the resort is sort of locked behind not just a very high hedge, maybe about 9-10 feet high, but also a chain link fence that is actually rather built into the hedge, so it looks like part of the hedge itself. And I'm going to give this to you free without needing a wits awareness. If you inspect the hedge for just a little bit, you notice that that very same fence that's sort of built into the hedge actually has barbed wire hooked into it. So if you were to try to climb the hedge, you would pretty much, like a normal person, would hit the barbed wire without even knowing it.
What a wonderful place.
Yeah, it's a very pretty prison.
Now, as we are fairly short on time, I would like, perhaps I'm not sure if we need to go in.
ELH.
Yes.
Does my trail that's still active, does it lead inside?
It does indeed.
Okay. Yeah, well, my magic is telling me they're dead straight.
I'd like to just look for some, perhaps they have security on this premise.
It's a hotel, isn't it?
Yeah, I need to get a hold of one of the groundskeepers or something here. And
Well, can we just stroll in the lobby or stroll in the grounds? Say that, we're going to check in. Our flight was delayed.
I like that idea.
Okay, which one of us is the uncle? Which one of us is the dad?
You don't need to worry about that. Follow me.
Okay, Dad.
So you walk into the front entrance, and when you open the double doors, If you thought the outside was beautiful and expensive looking, the inside is even more so. The grand foyer before you has the most expensive chandelier you have ever seen in your life. In fact, your haven is probably one half the value of this chandelier. It's that expensive looking. The entire place is, to put it bluntly, this is a place that Rolnick maybe feels at home, but the rest of you are very, very uncomfortable. Like, this would be the equivalent of taking someone from the Bronx and putting them in maybe Vegas, in like what is the really good hotel? Is it the Bellagio that's the really expensive one?
Yeah, that's the one with the big fountain outside.
Yeah, there we go. That's the one I wanted. But yeah, it would be like taking someone from the Bronx and putting them in the Bellagio. Like, you are that out of place. And once you're inside, and you're looking around this foyer, looking at the immaculate furniture, the lush purples and reds, the current night desk clerk, who is off to the left of the entrance, sort of calls out and says, excuse me, may I help you?
Yes. Dreadfully sorry for this time, hour here, but I was delayed. My flight, a bit of a unnerving layover. I believe you have a name. Should be under Mr. Greco.
Mr. Greco, one moment, sir. And this individual is a male. I was going to say male human, and then I caught myself. Thank you, Star Trek. He's a guy. He is dressed actually in a very not a pinstripe suit, but he's got like at least the collar and a tie, and he sort of taps on the computer that is just below the countertop, and he says, "Mr. Greco, perhaps there's some mistake. I show you already checked in."
Oh, yes, of course. I have a guest with me. They must have already checked in beforehand. You know what? I have no doubts they did that because of my layover.
Why don't
If
you
you could
roll
just
me a manipulation?
no, I'm straight up mesmerizing this guy.
Oh, okay.
And as a note, I do my powers now. They I have the rationalize 4 dot power.
Mm-hmm.
So they think it's their own thoughts that they're thinking. They don't know it's an outside kind of compulsion. And they apparently would, no matter how absurd the idea, they would be like, oh, well, it's my idea. Only if it's really focused, like they're questioned by a cop or something, would they be like, wait, did I really do that? Essentially, my dominant powers are a bit more potent.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm just reading
the idea is that I'm mesmerizing him to make him like, oh, I'm Greco, obviously. And of course, I ask him if you could just give me the key to the room. I'll be on my way.
I need you to roll me a manipulation and a dominate, please.
Okay.
And I get to roll my own dice pool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel a little underdressed in my "I want to believe" T-shirt.
Yeah, you.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, you might be a little underdressed.
Let's see.
All right, so they are rolling that, which means they have this many dice.
I may have to just do this manually because I'm not sure how to roll the discipline. Oh wait. That didn't. Never mind that. Well, it's essentially.
And I'm trying to look on the sheet how you would roll this.
I roll my
Sure.
powers by putting them in the disciplines thing. You just match the.
Oh yeah, those boxes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I guess I can't do. It's always a stat and a skill. I'll just do it manually.
Okay.
I clicked on the
Well,
Last two dice.
last two are your blood die, so that's still 2 10s, so that's 4. 7 in 9, that's another 2, so I see 6.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll stay with that.
And then they're going to roll theirs. Decidedly not 6. They have only achieved 4.
Is that
So,
a messy?
for them, no. Oh, you mean for Rolnick?
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So, to describe this, I'm going to take your agency away for just a moment, if you don't mind. As you try to mesmerize this person, for a normal mortal, it's pretty easy. You just sort of tell them and it happens. Here you actually have to put in some effort. And it annoys the hell out of your beast. And something just is nagging at you. It's in the back of your mind, like everything that's happened tonight, something is off about all this. And before you can put a finger or a thought towards what this means, the beast retracts. And you realize you're baring your fangs, but the desk clerk doesn't seem to notice and does seem to be responding to the effects of mesmerize and says, "Oh, right. I'm sorry, Mr. Greco. I should have expected this. Yes, I see you in the Thomason Villa. How many keys will you be needing?"
I'll just send up the usual amount. Thank you. I just go to take his key.
Well, that's the thing is like the clerk says, "Sir, are they with you?" and kind of points at the other 3.
Yes.
Will
Family
they be
members.
needing keys as well?
No, they'll be staying for just one night. That's a
Dad,
place to stay. That's all.
can I please have a key?
Of course, we'll get one more key.
Thank you, Dad.
The clerk like looks between the two of you, like not really sure what to make of it, but it's not his job to question. It's his job to make another key. So he makes
He
another
had me
key.
when he was really young.
Yeah.
I just give him like a kind of a.
But the clerk does hand you the requisite amount of keys and says, "If you need anything, Mr. Greco, please let us know. We would be happy to accommodate you."
Of course, service always 5 stars. Thank you. Have a wonderful evening.
You do as well.
And I just proceed to go to the elevators.
Well, you don't need to go to. Well, I should have mentioned that. So the way this hotel is actually set up is it's not a traditional one where you would go to an elevator. You would go like up in a building. This is actually sort of a clubhouse, and then you go out the back of the clubhouse, and there are a few villas. There are a few suites. I'm trying to figure out a good descriptor. It's almost like this clubhouse is the first sort of gatehouse between a gated community, and then further into the community are where the actual hotel rooms are. That's part of why it's so expensive, is because you're not renting a room, you're literally renting a full building.
Yeah.
It's basically like a checkpoint.
Pretty much, yeah.
So the hotel has got a whole bunch of townhouses behind the main entryway, almost.
You got it.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll head on over there. I'll make it, of course, seem like I know exactly where I'm going. And it's not that difficult, I don't think. And I do have some dots in leadership, if that helps with like making it look like I'm a man of status.
Affluence?
Yeah, affluence and status.
Before that happens, before we do that roll, who has the highest dots in awareness?
I've got 2.
Got 2?
I've got 3.
3?
2.
2. Locke, I'd like you to roll me not a standard wits awareness. I'd like you to roll me an intelligence and an awareness. And there's a reason for it.
Is Locke a bit of a himbo?
Pretty much.
2 successes. So it's not like you knew what Rolnick did when he used his power, because it's not like it broadcasts and says, hey, I'm using my power. Something feels off to you, and as you're looking around, you notice that there are actually security people here. They blend in, as it were. But there is security here. And you notice they, strangely, have two things on them. They have a book on their belts, and they also have what could be a stake. At least it's a wooden implement.
I'm going to try to get with the other members and kind of whisper to them what I found or what I noticed. And be like, hey, something's not right here, guys. Big books and stakes doesn't sound very normal, like a normal security team.
Big book? Like,
Oh,
are there hunters here?
I don't know.
Euless, now that you're thinking along those lines, and maybe Cameron points one out, I don't want to say hunter, but if the shoe fits...
What the fuck are there hunters here?
what? Just act normal. We'll be here briefly anyway. Keep your cool. And don't
Let's-
forget what you are.
I'm not like you. Let's just keep moving.
Of course. Now, when we approach the villa,
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to take what photos we can of the outside, exits, entries. I'm saying kind of under breath, to the others. And that's what I plan on doing. Just make my way, making it seem like, we should totally be here right now.
When we does my path point us to a like specific villa?
It does, yes.
Okay.
Is
We'll
it
say
the one that
second
the
on the
clerk
left.
said?
It is, yeah. It's the
Thompson
second one
one?
on the left.
Here we are, and I'll try to very subtly just take out a phone, and just start taking some
pictures.
pictures. Yeah, windows.
Hey guys, what if the hunters already got him? I think we should go take a look.
I agree. Do I see any hunters around?
Oh, wait. Do I know if the person I'm tracking dies if their trail disappears?
I think that would be a reasonable assumption based on how the power reads.
Okay. Then I know he's not dead yet, but they might have him in torpor.
Do you think it's safe to go in?
I
Sounds
think
like a trap.
Cameron, does it look like they've been watching us?
Can I check that?
You can indeed. I'm just trying to think out what would be a good combo here. Because I don't want to do another Wits Awareness. I'm trying to branch out, make it something a little bit more...
What's resolve? What's composure?
Yeah,
Wait.
that's what I'm thinking.
Wits streetwise?
You can also
Or
use
subterfuge?
You could also use investigation to look around and see if they
Yeah.
look like they're watching us.
Give me a Wits and Investigation, please.
Oof.
Could I roll that?
You certainly may, yes. Three successes. With 3 successes. Actually, isn't that... Oh, no, that's a 5, not a 6. With 3 successes, Euless, you're noticing that there are an awful large amount of people out for a 3 a.m. stroll. Now, not all of them have the books and the stakes, but there's an awful lot of people out at 3 a.m.
I think we're all here for the same thing, and I don't know. We might just want to call it a loss and go home. This is there's a lot of people here.
Now, is there a place where you can talk privately?
Yeah, I mean,
securely?
you could find a place because there's gardens that lead between the clubhouse and then the villas, so you could just find a secluded spot in the gardens to have a chat.
I have what I wanted. I have some exits and entryways. This location.
If these are hunters, that means we have a member of the Primogen Council, even though he is a traitor in their hands. That can't be good for anyone in the city. We should probably check that out. It is dangerous, but that's what we do.
Wait, do these guys look? Do these guys look like? Do these guys look military trained, or do they look like Saint Leopold kind of hunters?
I would say that they are somewhere in between, if I had to qualify.
Okay.
Do you have a means of safely going inside?
We've got a key card, and I guess I can sneak in.
All right. I'll watch from the outside. Who else is going in? Or do you prefer to be alone? Make it quick either way.
Does anyone want to come in?
If there's hunters in there, you're gonna need some backup. I don't think any of you are up for a fight, are you?
I'd rather avoid it.
Well, then it looks like I'll go in with you.
Try to
Okay.
keep it quiet.
Don't we always keep it quiet?
Quiet's not my style.
Find a place, Euless. I say as I like very dramatically just go like. For some reason, like I do this, I just go.
What are you doing?
Just leave me alone, Euless.
Maybe you guys can start planning for like a distraction in case something happens while we're in there.
It is already prepared. Hurry up.
All right, so my question is, something I should say about this particular villa is there is a back entrance, but it is past a pool and a gate. Now the gate is just a simple latch, and the pool is very easy to circumnavigate, but it is sort of a roundabout way of getting in. So would you like to come in the back door or the front door? Also, I know phrasing.
Derek, what do you think?
We can split up. You can go and try and sneak through the back, and I'll make a commotion at the front to draw them away from the back door.
Well, maybe we shouldn't make a commotion just yet. I mean, we have a key card.
That works too, then.
Okay. So, do you still want to split up, or do you want to go front door, back door, through a window?
Well, if one of us goes through a window, I don't think it's going to be so quiet.
Do we notice any open windows? Because Miami at night
Unfortunately,
is so nice.
Well, something, a little key detail that I think everyone has forgotten is it is currently raining.
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, I guess the back door, if there's a bunch of people towards the front. Is there a bunch of people towards the front door?
I wouldn't say they're gathered around it, but yeah, there's probably more than a few sets of eyes on the front door.
I think the back door is the way to go.
Well, then let's go.
Okay. Guess we go towards the back door. Sneak in and try to open the door with the key card.
Okay. Also, Lou, that has been noted. So, what I would say is I would like both Derek and Mr. Locke. I would like you to roll me let's call this a dexterity and a stealth, please.
I'm also using Shadow Cloak
Okay.
to get me 2 extra dice.
3 successes. Oh, I know what's wrong. Why yours isn't showing up. Where is your sheet? There. Now, in the future, it will show up like everyone else's. Anyway, 2 successes, 3 successes. Any willpower rerolls?
I will do a willpower reroll.
Okay. So that is a grand total of 4 successes and 3 successes. Okay. So you two steal around to the back. You check your 6 o'clock or your 3 o'clock and your 9 o'clock. You look when people aren't looking, and then you sort of slip into the gated part of the pool area. Slip around the pool to the back door. Use the key card.
Yeah.
Okay. Just want to make sure. Use the key card, and it unlocks. Door opens. And as you do, the sound of laughter meets your ears. It's not laughing at you. It's coming from somewhere upstairs. But it sounds like a woman is laughing and talking with someone.
Can we listen in and make our way up towards there?
You certainly may. It would just require a check unless you are trying to, like, just storm up the stairs.
I'm trying to be quiet.
Okay. Let's have another dexterity and stealth then. A messy critical. Interesting. Okay. So Derek, would you like to flavor your success with the messy critical, or should I?
I'll let you do it for now.
Okay. So, Locke, what happens is maybe we'll say Derek gets a little bit ahead of you, is going up the staircase like a ghost. When, Locke, you end up tripping over one of the staircases, and you catch yourself in time, but you make a very loud thunk as you do so. And Derek, your beast immediately feels offended that someone should interrupt your, shall we say, stealthful activities by being so clumsy. And you are momentarily sort of focused on Locke to the point that until you chastise him, you will suffer a -1 to all of your dice rolls. But as this is happening, the woman's voice and the laughter stops, and all of you hear very clearly a voice saying, "Ah, good, the guests of honor have arrived. Please do come upstairs."
So before we go up, Derek's just going to look back at Locke, because you say he's hyper-focused right now.
Mm-hmm.
This is why we should have gone my way. If we'd have just kicked in the door, we would have got the same result. Why did I listen to you?
Because you're a gangrel, and you're used to following. But yes, I apologize. I messed up. Well, shall we go?
Yeah, there's no more air of trying to be quiet, I guess. So, I guess we might as well.
All right. So you ascend the rest of the staircase, and the hallway to your left and your right is illuminated. But specifically, there is a open door to your left. So you would turn left, and then another right would be where the door is. And you sort of head that way, look inside the room, and what you see is a very nice bedroom, maybe king-sized, nice pillowy satin sheets, all the good amenities you would expect at a 5-star hotel. But what's on the bed is what concerns you. On the bed is the Primogen Greco. And as you did think, he is staked. He has a wooden implement in his chest. But also there is a woman that, Derek, you've never met, but you do know her from the picture. Sophie Bartoni is there. And she is kitted out in a catsuit. And as you step in, she says, "Oh, don't be shy. Come, come. Where are the rest of your little friends? Is this just you two?"
Just us. The others don't like to get their hands dirty.
I did expect that. That's why we have so many outside at the moment.
So did you do this? Is this your work?
Oh, this! And she motions at the staked individual. Yes, this is my grand plan to deliver the Second Inquisition, something they've wanted for a long time.
Why would you want to do that?
Well, because they promised my safety and the hellfire to come.
Oh, lovely.
That's a dumb move.
I'm sorry, who is this?
He's just a vagabond that we've picked up. He's harmless. He's nice, though.
Harmless and nice. That does seem
Little
to fit.
hairy.
Does seem to fit Phil, doesn't it?
Yeah, unfortunately. So what's got you so scared that you'd be willing to trade a Primogen for your safety?
Oh, the
What's
Primogen.
what's going to go down?
No, I'm not trading the Primogen. The Primogen was just to get you here.
Oh, you're trading us.
You, the court, the prince. Yes.
And then your own life, of course, because you think you're going to be all right.
Oh, I know I'm going to be all right.
Till they're tired of you.
Ah, but if I continue being useful...
This is disgusting.
Do you have some attachment to this person? Should I be worried about their safety?
No, I don't even really know her.
And at that, before any of you... I see where this is going, and she sees where this is going. She just very casually pulls out a 9mm pistol and says, "You know, I never actually fired one of these before, but I'm told Dragon's Breath is actually a rather painful way to go."
Oh, I know. I've seen what happened to the prince, and I'm going to soaringly better.
Okay.
Activate potence.
All right, so I'm trying to think what the combination of rolls here is. So you do get hungrier. Let's see. Are you attempting to knock her down? Are you attempting to just cover the distance?
Probably knock her down.
Knock her down. Okay. Then why don't we do it this way? Why don't you roll a strength and athletics? And then she will roll the same. Two successes. Would you like to willpower that?
Yeah.
Total of 4 successes. All right. Let's see how she does. She has a rather large amount of dice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I see 6 successes. So what happens is, Locke, your beast stirs within you, driving you to smite or otherwise take down this affront to kindred sensibility. And as you leap at her and try to tackle her to the floor, what happens is she almost meets you halfway. She sort of holds out her arm and, like someone swatting away a fly, with just a single hand, sort of just pushes you off to the side so you impact the ground next to her rather than her herself. And as you land, she points the barrel of the gun directly at your head and says, "Now, there's no need for that." So Derek, you are in the enviable position of dealing with a hostage situation.
So, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to actually activate Protean Claws,
Okay.
which is just a rouse check.
Okay. See that rouse check. You get hungrier.
And I'm also going to activate, where is it? I've got it on my sheet. We're going to try and talk this just slightly before we get to try and get close. I'm also going to activate Eyes of the Beast, which gives me a +2 on Intimidation.
Okay.
Does not require a rouse check or any rolls to activate it.
Okay.
And I'm going to try to talk to her
All right. What
in
do you
a
say?
very harsh tone. I don't know who the hell you are, and I don't even give a I'm going to pause my language there. And I don't care about any of these people. You could shoot him, and that wouldn't bother me. You could burn the whole Camarilla to the ground, and I wouldn't care. But I'm going to rip out your throat before tonight's over, so you won't get out of here.
Roll me your, let's do either a charisma. Yeah, it's going to be a charisma intimidation.
And remind me, because Roll20 confuses me,
Mhm.
for the +2 intimidation on the Eyes of the Beast, would that be just a +2 in the modifiers?
Yes.
Would it be +2 or just 2?
I think it's just 2.
All right, here goes nothing.
All right, first off, did it roll the number of dice it should have?
Yes, it did.
Okay. So 3 successes. Do you want to willpower that?
I am going to willpower that.
Okay. Which, if you actually just click the reroll button, it should automatically do that for you.
Yes.
So total of 4 successes. Let me gather up her pool here. Still a large amount of dice, but not as many. Let's see, that is 1, 2. Interesting. So she has scored a grand total of 5 successes, if I read that right, but that is a messy critical for her. So, at your words, at the threat of ripping out her throat, she bares her fangs at you and says, "I think not." And the barrel of the gun swings up to point at you, Derek, giving Locke an opportunity to try something.
I'm going to try to grapple her again and use Touch of Oblivion.
Okay. Does Touch of Oblivion have...
And that's a stain.
Ooh. Let's see. As I'm trying to find in Chicago by Night, as I'm trying to pull up the...
It's a strength plus brawl.
For both actors?
Yeah, unless you want to dodge it.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to decide here, is if she's going to dodge or not. No, I think she's too distracted with the threat in front of her to dodge. So, yeah, let's just do Strength plus Brawl for everybody involved. Which she does not have a great amount of dice for. So, 6 successes. It's not probable that she'll make it, but I'll roll anyway. Yeah, she has only scored 2 successes. So, yes. Remind me, your touch does how many aggravated?
2 aggravated, and then it's also a crippling injury.
Okay. Does it give guidance as to what the crippling injury should be?
I think you roll for it. It doesn't really matter.
Okay.
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, go ahead and roll me. Let's see. Of course, on the GM screen, it just says aggravated damage plus roll. It doesn't tell me. I wish I knew how to read this chart. Let's do this. Just go ahead and roll me your roll me a d10. How about that? A solid 10. So, Rolnick, you have no idea what's happening, but inside, as Locke goes for Miss Bartoni and grabs hold of her, and the darkness sort of seeps out of his arm and into Miss Bartoni. What happens is her eyes immediately shoot up into the back of her head as the shadow infuses with her. And in what is recognizable as immediate torpor, she falls backwards, slams into the ground, and just goes completely rigid.
They're talking to me, or
Well, that's for both you and Derek. Both of you have just seen Miss Bartoni fall over rigid.
I thought he said Rolnick.
I said Rolnick didn't know what was going on, but
Yeah, Ulysses and I are outside.
yeah.
Keeping an eye.
Okay.
But if I had to, I'd probably said that weirdly. What I meant to say was Rolnick has felt a disturbance in the force.
I'm gonna look at Derek and be like, "Hey, is there anything we can use to stake her, and we can get out of here?"
So Derek's gonna look around the room. I'm sure there's like a bedside table or something around.
Armoire, bedside table, bedpost.
Something he can break a quick leg off of or something and just do the staking real quick.
Okay.
Now, what should we do with the Primogen here? Should we
Take them
carry?
both.
Do we want to take 2 bodies out, or should we just take 1 and follow the prince's order?
Well, are you gonna bite him or should I?
I don't like Ventrue. I'm willing to. It's up to you. We can do rock paper scissors. I can do it. I don't. It's up to you. We should decide quick though.
And almost as if to make matters worse, you hear the chirp of a radio that says, Miss Bartoni, please check in.
Can you grunt and be like, "I'm here."
Kind of cold.
Let's do something. Let's respond. Just do grunt. A feminine sounding grunt.
Are you gonna do that or should I?
Maybe you, maybe I. I'm not really good at those type of things. Are you?
Those.
Okay. Derek grabs the radio,
Mm-hmm.
holds down the button, and tries to make the most feminine, kind of grunt, like
Mhm.
what? Kind of like a but in a more feminine way.
Okay. Roll me a manipulation and
Gods above.
God, what would this be? A persuasion? Yeah, a manipulation and a
performance?
persuasion. Performance would be good too,
subterfuge?
yeah. Performance would be good.
Can I assist him by coaching him in the background?
Just like be
Good.
going, no, higher, no, lower. Sure, I'll allow it. Why not?
Would this be a subterfuge as well, or would
Yeah,
it just
subterfuge would also apply.
Okay, good, because that's a little bit better than my performance or persuasion. Sorry, you said charisma, right?
Manipulation.
All right, manipulation.
And +1 for the help. And then can you rouse the blood to get another +1?
Yeah, I could do that. So,
I'm just giving you options.
You know what? This is kind of one of those situations where it's worth the rouse the blood. So I will rouse the blood for another dice on this.
Okay. Make sure to roll that hunger.
So we'll start with the rouse. Let me flip over here.
Do get hungrier.
You're about to eat them anyway. It's fine.
Four successes. Would you like to willpower any of that, or are we sticking with 4?
We'll stick with the 4, I think.
Okay. So, you give a very feminine, mm-hmm. And the other voice on the radio says, "Is everything all right? We noticed 2 individuals coming in the back door. Is it time to move in?"
Keeping that feminine charm that I've so beautifully managed to attain,
Mm-hmm.
she's just gonna kind of give a
Are you able to talk? Simply just say yes or no. Well, mm-hmm, or mm-mm.
mm-hmm.
I see. Are they with you?
Mm-mm.
Do you know where they are?
Mm.
Miss Bartoni, if you're playing some sort of a game, this is not funny. Right, we're giving you 5 minutes and then we're coming in.
He's gonna let go of the button. All right, we got 5 minutes. Let's go.
Oh my god.
Now, Rolnick, we're going to cut to you and Sophie real quick. So, Euless, at some point, Rolnick has vanished from your sight. Like, you looked away one moment and you look back and Rolnick is gone. But Rolnick, with you stealing away and finding a vantage point, I know it's cliche. Give me a wits and awareness, please.
I mean, what would a Vampire the Masquerade game be without?
Without wits and awareness, yeah.
On now, it's the staple. Yeah, there's my wits. I got one success.
Well, one success is all you really need because it's extremely obvious. About half of the individuals that are milling about at now 4 a.m. is they're putting like hands to their ears, they're looking around nervously. Some are going like checking themselves. Is their stake in place? Do they have their weapons on them? You know, very obvious signs that something big is about to go down.
Or they've been alarmed or something.
Something to that nature, yes.
And, just on the other side of your shoulder, Euless, you just hear a,
Look,
and
Hell?
just sort of like manifesting from the shadows. They're getting ready to move.
should we go in?
Give them 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, we cut back inside. You have 4 minutes and 30 seconds.
Drink.
How long would
him.
Diablerie take?
So that is something I've tried to find literature on. Actually, you know what? I think there's a chart for it now that I think about it again. Because there is an actual, like... Here it is, actually. This is exactly what I want. Let's see. Well, I can tell you that to drain a human and to kill them, which is basically what you have to do for Diablerie, if I remember correctly. That is 5 turns. Where it's interesting because...
Is a turn 6 seconds here, like it is in D&D?
Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's, 3 seconds?
Just whatever dramatically is appropriate.
I would say, based on the situation, you're basically going to come out of this with ruined clothes, and you're going to look like you've drank blood, but if you were to be quick about it, you could conceivably feed and Diablerize within 2 minutes. I'll give you that.
All right, well, Derek's not going to waste any time at this point. He's going to grab the Primogen and just take a nice chompy chomp.
Okay.
I think you can assist.
Okay.
But only one person can do it.
Yeah.
Get the actual.
Only one person can Diablerize.
So, Derek, you weren't here for this part, but remember how I said long, long ago that when you feed on a changeling, you trip balls? Derek, you bite into the Primogen's neck, and instead of the vampiric vitae you were expecting, you essentially sip on something a lot more sweet, a lot more exotic. And immediately the colors that you're seeing begin to swim, and the sort of world around you begins to move and shake. And you maybe pull back just in time, but you are still tripping balls. And at the same time, Locke, as this all happens and you see Derek go, ugh, the Primogen sits up and waves a hand over themselves, and it is the Winter Court assassin from before, and says, "You all really don't learn your lessons, do you? We've done this trick, 3 times?
Pretty much. Hey, can you help us get us out of here?
And why in the world would I do that?"
Throw us a bone. Come on. You know you want to.
Roll me a manipulation and persuasion. It's not likely, but I'll let you roll it anyway. So, how would you like to flavor your beast here?
You can do it.
I can do it. All right. So maybe you are trying to plead with them, trying to be jovial, and your beast is, I don't want to say offended, but is more or less urging you to, this is the third time you've been humiliated like this. You are tired of changeling bullshit. You are tired of glamours. You are going to make an example out of this changeling. And for the rest of the scene, until that changeling is either unconscious or dead, you are going to suffer a -1 to all of your rolls. But
Well,
Derek, you can still act and speak. You're just tripping balls.
Yeah, most certainly.
Derek, that changeling thing on the bed is melting. Stop it.
Melting ice cream. Gotta eat it. And he's gonna grab onto it and start digging his claws into it because he's still got his protein in claws and start trying to rip it apart like ice cream that needs to be shoved into his mouth.
Okay. I think that would be a classic opposed strength plus brawl.
Finally, something I'm good at.
I would hope so. Four successes. Are we keeping the 4 or?
You know what? We're gonna willpower reroll, just because I got to do something right tonight.
Okay. Five successes. They have a grand total of this. Yeah, that's 2 successes. So, how would you like to describe yourself tearing into this changeling?
So, as you said, he's currently very, very high on changeling blood. And, when you're a child and it's Christmas morning and you're really excited for your presents and you just got to get inside of it, that's exactly what he's doing with this changeling, just ripping and tearing, like throwing bits and pieces all over the place, trying to get at what's inside.
So how much damage does your claws actually do?
So it does whatever the damage roll is, but for non-mortals, instead of it being halved for non-lethal damage, it's the full amount for non-lethal damage to non-mortals.
Okay.
I'd have to double check and see if it says superficial damage inflicted to it just says it's not halved.
Not halved. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Normally,
it's a +2 modifier as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so the difference in the roll +2.
Right. So the difference on the roll here was a total of 3.
Yeah. So then 5 superficial.
Mm-hmm. Which is not halved. All right. Good. So with 5, you actually tick them over into aggravated by 1. So, yeah, you are literally tearing this changeling limb from limb. Maybe you've literally removed their arm, and they are screaming bloody murder. And this scream is heard outside. And immediately that Euless and Rolnick would notice is that those that were putting their hands to their ear, maybe checking themselves, immediately turn to the building and begin running towards the villa. And then something interesting happens. The other half of the people milling about, they begin to sort of gather, to form a group, a small crowd. And they are not approaching the villa so much as they are forming a circle around it.
I don't like this, Euless. We have to ensure there's an exit. They must have ran into trouble inside.
Okay, I'm about to do something really dumb. Back me up.
I
Okay.
just kind of moan as I like look to see what you're gonna do.
All right. First, I'm going to use my Blood of Potency power.
Okay.
With I roll Resolve plus Discipline with a difficulty of 3.
Okay. That's 2 successes,
I'll
unfortunately.
re-roll that.
Okay.
So it's 7 minus 5. 3.
3 successes.
All right. So my blood potency counts as one higher for the scene,
Okay.
and I will like the passage that goes from that goes from
Greco.
like pardon.
Are you... Sorry, I might be thinking of something else. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, like the pathway that goes from like the front of the house like to the back.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the back is like up against like a hedge thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So like I like go to block that. I take out both my normal gun and my gun loaded with dragon breath.
Mm-hmm.
Point them at the people approaching. Nobody move.
Okay. What to make this? What to make of this? Why don't you have me roll? Let's do a... I'll give you either a charisma and a persuasion, a charisma intimidate, or maybe a charisma performance even.
I'll do charisma persuade.
Okay. Wow, that is actually rather important. So, would you like to flavor it, or should I?
Yeah, I think like I think like the I don't know if this has come across, but Euless like very much does not want to think of herself as not human.
Mm-hmm.
So like I think in like this heightened situation, like her fangs are like sort of like reactively like you know, she's like starting to like take on like, you know, like the subconscious actions that the beast wants her to take, and like she's like trying to fight against that. She's just
Okay.
like trying to like both like maintain, you know, these people keep these people at bay, but like also like maintain this image of being a human being.
Okay. Then what happens is the group approaching you stops, sort of holds up their hands in a don't shoot gesture and say, all right, boys, looks like we got one of them blank bodies here in front of us, at least judging by those fangs of hers. What's your plan, blank body?
I'm not a blank body.
Call yourself whatever you want, doesn't change what you are.
What happened to me doesn't define me. Now you are going to stay there, and we're all going to leave alive, okay?
Rolnick, what are you doing when all this is happening?
I'm gonna hide away and try to find a nice kind of flanking position. I see that, and my eyes go out, and I try to just recede back. I do a stealth roll. I can attempt one. As I try to use the garden, like I keep low, you know, and I try to just kind of circle around.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead and roll me a...
like a dex stealth or something.
I would think either a dex stealth or a wit stealth, because you are trying to actively avoid other people.
All right, I'm gonna rouse the blood.
Okay, you do get hungrier.
I'm gonna get hungrier. Give me a +1 to my wits. So I'll do a wit stealth then. I'm trying to gauge So one. Okay.
Ooh.
No successes. I'm gonna spend willpower.
I was gonna say, can you? Because those are all hunger dice.
Are they?
Yeah.
Oh, they are. Never mind. I can't. Yep, that's right. I can't.
Oh
It's like.
dear. So, Rolnick, funny thing, you hide behind a hedge, or you think you're hiding behind a hedge, and you kind of shuffle around, picking up every once in a while. And as you're looking in one direction, you're not looking the other. So eventually you run into a wall. At least you think it's a wall, because when you look, it's actually a person. In fact, it's a person you know. It's the Ventrue Primogen Greco. And he's pointing a shotgun at you.
Oh! Don't shoot!
And Greco says, "Now looky here, look what I've found."
You don't need to use that. In fact, I think it's better if you just give the gun to me.
I'm assuming you're attempting to...
Try to mesmerize him.
That's what I thought. All right, so he is
Give me the gun.
rolling... So you're rolling a manipulation and a dominate. He is rolling an intelligence and a resolve. All right, 4 successes. Do you want to willpower that at all, or you want to keep it?
Nah, keep it.
Keep it. All right. He's going to roll a rather large amount of dice. 1, 2, 3, 4. He has scored 4 successes as well. Remind me, does tie go to the acting? I believe it does.
Yep.
Okay.
For like a few moments, perhaps. Like, I dominate him and he goes, oh.
Yeah, I would say you may
What about
command
a
him to do
reroll?
1 action. How about that?
Give me the gun.
Okay. So he kind of his eyes cloud over a little bit, and he hands you the shotgun.
And like, I'm not used to, I've never held a shotgun, so it's like, oh, it's heavier than I thought. It's the first thought that comes. Ooh.
Turn it on him.
Yeah.
His eyes come back to him, and he says, "Yeah, I should have expected that."
Just stay calm.
Do you need an inhaler? Do you need a moment? Because I'm going to point out something. Safety's on, buddy. We cut back inside. Derek, at this point, if you want to kill the Changeling, you can kill the Changeling. But otherwise, I'm curious, what is Locke doing while Derek is tearing open his Christmas present?
I'm egging him on because that changeling really pissed me off, and I'm picking up Bartoli's body, putting over my shoulder, and be like, "Hurry up and finish the changeling off, so we can get the hell out of here."
So Derek's not holding back at all with tearing apart this changeling. I imagine it's really up to you at this point if you want me to roll to, continue ripping up the changeling at this point.
What's your hunger at?
It is at 3 at this point.
Roll me your unspent willpower. One success. You maybe take just a little bit long to finish stopping. Like, it's one of those, slow wind downs as opposed to an immediate stop, but you eventually do stop. Unfortunately, by the time you do, Euless, as you're outside putting guns at the hunters, another group has walked up to you, and you maybe do one of those Mexican standoff things where you point your gun at one group and then at the other. The other group does much the same. They point their guns at the hunter and then one at you.
Oh, fuck.
So you are literally within a Mexican standoff right now. And this group, one of them steps forward and says, All right, see, this is how this is gonna go down. You're gonna die. You're gonna die. The winter court all comes out ahead. We clear?
Wait, the why is the Winter Court in the hunters? Like she looks at the hunters. Do you know these guys?
And in that hesitation, they pull out their guns, and now they're in the Mexican standoff. There's just guns going everywhere. And the person leading the hunters says, I have no fucking idea who these people are. They're not blank bodies. And we go over to the changelings. Well, there you go. The changelings say that's because we're not. We are the Fae. We are much better than your vampire nonsense. And the Inquisition type goes, what the fuck is a Fae? I don't know. They're pointing guns at us. Look, point your guns at them. And there's like that moment hesitation where they maybe pull off Euless to point at the changelings. So Euless, you have a moment to do something.
Euless. She fires her non-special gun into the air.
Okay. So you point it at the sky, pull the trigger. Loud bang. Everyone hears it. Everyone pretty much within a mile hears this. And silence falls. And then all the guns point at you.
The police are going to be here. I don't know a lot about the Second Inquisition, but I know that you guys are secret, even to them.
Meanwhile, inside.
All right, let's go, buddy.
Let's go. I
want to try something. So he's going to go to the kitchen, turn on the stoves, and then grab the oven and pull it so that it's like pulled out. And because I imagine this townhouse has some kind of stove, right?
It does,
gas
yeah.
So that the gas line is partially torn. We got to run.
I see where we're going with this. So do you leave out the back or the front?
Back, right?
Yeah, I would say the back, because kitchen right near the back.
Okay. So you do the gas setup. You go out the back door. Euless, you hear commotion behind you.
I don't turn around.
Okay. Well, that's good, because Locke and Derek, you step out, and you see Euless getting a lot of guns pointed at them.
Euless, you need help? You good?
Are you guys ready to go?
Pretty much. Where's
Okay.
The big L man?
Speaking of the big Rolnick.
P-man.
Rolnick, what are you doing?
I'm tired of you. Found you once. I'll find you again. Okay?
I'm only getting about half of that, unfortunately.
Yeah, like I'm trying to be a little intimidating,
Mhm.
but the Malkavian side is coming. And so I found you before. I'll find you again. And then I shoot and I just run.
Okay, and it's a good thing, because when you fire into the air, it is a dragon's breath round. So all of the rest of you, the three of you, see a gout of flame come up from beyond a hedge, and everybody's attention immediately goes to the fireball, giving you all a chance to escape.
Yeah, like I run, like I shoot it at him to scare Greco away, then I run.
Do you keep the shotgun?
Yeah, but I hold it over my head like some sort of ape.
All right, I need everybody to roll me a dexterity and an athletics, please. And I think it goes without saying that this is a very important roll.
I think
A messy critical for Locke.
I will rouse the blood.
Is this a feat of strength or no?
This is a feat of, I would say it is, yes.
Okay, then you'd add my potence.
Okay. So 1 success from Rolnick. 1 success from Euless.
I will willpower that.
Okay.
Does the reroll button work now?
It should, yes. Apparently not. So let's see. 3 dice. That is a grand total of 3 successes overall, but that is only 3 successes. Who are we missing? So how much are we adding to Locke?
2.
2. Okay. All right. So in that case, what happens is Derek and Locke, you both are able to escape the incoming hail of bullets that comes from both Changeling and Hunter alike. You emerge unscathed back into the front part of the clubhouse. However, Euless and Rolnick, you take a few bullets. And the good news is that these are not fire breath rounds. However, they are meant to injure a, shall we say, supernatural being. So each of you is going to take a grand total of 1 let's do 1 aggravated. And we're going to, I was debating something there. Let's keep it at 1 aggravated for the time being.
Get shot up. A hail of gunfire. They just pop through my shoulder, pop through my chest.
Mhm.
I don't notice it, but it does ruin my suit.
Yes, that is probably the most important thing, is your suit is ruined. But yeah, from here, I'm assuming you all are running away.
Yeah.
So I now have a very important question for you. The ferry is running, but it's kind of on the opposite shore at the moment. So what's your exit strategy?
Is that how we came?
Yup.
And I assume time-wise, we don't have a whole lot of time before sunrise.
You got about 30 minutes.
Wait, 30 minutes before sunrise?
Sorry, no. I got to keep my own timeline consistent here. You have an hour before sunrise.
Okay, I was gonna say it's a fucking 30-minute period ride.
Yeah, I was gonna say we're gonna have to find a basement somewhere.
I like as we're running to the gate. Do we kind of meet up with one another?
I mean, yeah, you emerge into a group, and then you get out of the hotel area. You just hear a hail of gunfire behind you.
Hey, Rolnick, your suit got ruined.
What? What?
Rolnick, do you have a fucking helicopter or something?
What? I don't read comic books. We have to get out of here. All right?
Yeah, we do.
Oh, my suit.
And
I say, like, I'm just holding a shotgun, like, in one hand. I'm like, oh.
And Rolnick, the other thing you notice is that Locke is currently carrying a certain sire of yours, staked.
Ah. Good job. Good job.
Oh, thank you.
That's...
Your approval means everything to me.
It all makes sense now. The cat suit, the bats.
All right. Well, let's go. What are we doing? We can always sleep like underneath the sea, right?
Oh, I say, take that buddy now. And like I stride. I mean, did we pass through the lobby? I don't
I mean, yeah, I'm probably not describing it right. You have gotten out of the hotel area. You are past the clubhouse. You are into the normal, quote-unquote, streets, as it were.
Okay. I mean, make our way to the docks if the ferry's there.
It's on the other shore.
Okay, so, like, as we leave, where would we go? Would it be possible for us to get to, like, any sort of docks or a boat?
Yes, I would say that if you went to the area where the ferry does depart from, you do see that there are several boats moored there. You could potentially take one of them.
We have to take one of these. Do any of
Let's
you
do
know how
it.
to steal a boat? And I immediately look at the kangaroo,
Does Derek know how to steal a boat?
who's like high as fuck, and he's like, "Oh,
I mean, maybe I don't.
We'll get you more
Well-
ice cream.
Uh, I don't think I want any more ice cream today.
that boat, quickly!"
So I have a very important question.
I
Does
hate
anyone have
boats.
any dots in larceny?
Yes, one.
Hey, it's a dot. Give me a wits and larceny, please.
This ain't gonna be good.
So, I have good news and I have bad news. The good news, you get the boat started. Bad news, the beast is not happy that you are tripping balls. So maybe you a little bit zealous with the whole, crossing of wires and otherwise jump starting the boat, that you pull too hard and you lose what is essentially the steering column for the entire boat. Now, you could get in the boat and like hold the rudder in a direction, but you essentially have no way to control where the boat is going. But it's on. You just have to cast off the ropes and you could go.
You got it. Good. And I go to immediately cast the ropes off.
Okay. So it's a very important question though, because as the boat takes off, it does begin to list off to the left, and everything you're doing at the steering wheel is not yielding anything.
Keep it straight. What are you doing?
I don't know. We're going around the world.
Let me try.
Roll Nick, same thing. You try to move the steering column, nothing's
Damn
working.
things. You must have done something. Um.
If I might offer a suggestion as a storyteller, because I just thought of something hilarious. You know how you kind of have a torpid Bartoni?
I thought of that.
Use her as a rudder.
Yeah. Is there any rope?
Yeah, there's some rope.
I'm gonna tie her up and throw her to
Wait,
I think
what
the
are
right
you doing?
side. Correct? To
Mhm.
try to straighten it out.
Wait, what are you doing?
I'm using your sire as a. Do I know it's her? It's his sire.
Yeah, you would know by now.
I'm using her as a steering wheel, as a rudder. I'm making her useful.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
I love how cool he is with it. He's like, oh, okay. So yeah, needless to
Want to
say,
make sure.
using her as a rudder, it ain't clean. You still kind of do like S formations and maybe an infinity symbol or two. But eventually you do get to the other shore, the other side of the shore, and not a moment too soon, because this is a long sort of affair. You maybe have
I'm
about
smiling the whole way. Just. Oh.
Derek is smiling the whole way,
You know.
laughing along with you.
nice. But I have bad news, and that is it's about 15 minutes before sunrise. So you're already seeing the beginnings of the twilight fading and that fiery orb coming up that you do not want to see.
Hey, do we know how to get really cool really fast?
What?
Boats usually have an underbelly, right? Right? Somebody knows boats here, right?
We can't
feel
stay
like-
in this boat. Take Miss Bartoni, and we need to find a basement quickly.
I would say anyone who has a dot in Streetwise, please roll me an intelligence and a Streetwise.
Your man's got streetwise.
I see 2 successes, 4 successes. So, Euless, I'm going to say that it is a failure for you. So, you are going to get hungrier. Maybe not hungrier. You are You're not at a frenzy quite yet, but your beast is panicking. It is freaking out. The sunrise is almost here. You are not somewhere safe. The beast is understandably having a panic attack. Rolnick, with 4 successes, you know something about the area you're in. In fact, you do recall, many, many nights ago, that a certain nightclub in the area that you could get to belongs, supposedly, to one of Locke's clansmates. More specifically, the Primogen of the La Sombra.
This way. Quickly now. To the club.
Oh, yeah, Rolnick has a lead. I'm taking the lead. I'm fucking on his tail.
Can I tell them to call the Primogen?
Yeah.
And
Let
be
me
like,
help
"Hey,
you with the ropes. On Miss Bartoni there. Yeah. I'll take her from here.
No, I got her. Don't worry.
Are you sure?
Yeah, you're a little frail.
Guys, let's not waste
I
time.
lean forward and I
Let's
just
run.
I smell her very eerily, and I just and I kind of pull back this way.
So long story short, Locke, you do the smart thing. You call ahead. That way, by the time you do reach the club, and not a moment too soon, you are ushered inside by bouncers. And as the door shuts behind you and curtains are closed, the full strength of the sun hits that sort of black curtain, and you can see little bits of sunlight sort of creeping around the edges. But you are safe for the moment, and your beast takes... All of your beasts take a sigh of relief.
I assume we all feel incredibly tired now that the sun is up.
That's what I was about to say. You are now feeling incredibly, incredibly tired.
As the blood deanimates our body and just
Well, I'm gonna go find a nice couch to sleep in, and I'm gonna spoon with the Miss Bartoli.
keep that one asleep.
And as you all crash for the night, I think that is a perfect moment to end tonight's session. So, what did you guys think? Did you like the little reveal that I've been keeping for 8 sessions?
You motherfucker.
I thought we were gonna die there for a little bit.
It was a distinct possibility.
For a little bit.
Ugh.
Just sad my gas trap never went off.
Oh, you're right. I forgot to
The
describe
distance.
the villa blowing up. The villa blew up. Don't worry. It was great. It was a Michael Bay explosion. It was beautiful.
And did we slow walk
As
away?
we ran away. Yeah.
Well, you didn't look back. That's the key. You didn't look back. That's why you didn't notice it. You didn't look back. There you go.
So we're all cool guys.
Oh. All right, cool. So let's talk experience. You guys are at what currently? I ask this every week. What are you guys at currently?
Our 32.
32. I want you to go to 36.
All right.
Ho, ho, ho.
All right. And then let's talk scheduling real quick on the stream. So stream, we are moving to an every other week. I know we've been trying to do a weekly schedule. It simply just works out that for me, it's better if we do every other week. So the next date we're looking at is the 27th. Is everybody able to make that?
Yeah.
Yep.
Vamping.
All right, so then we will meet next on the 27th. So until then, this is where I'm going to cut the stream. So Twitch, YouTube, hopefully you guys had a good time watching, and we will see these kindred another time. Bye, stream.
Bye.